The God Valley Enigma, a deep dive into the great pirate marine debate and the vast lore of One Piece. Few events carry the mythic weight of the God Valley incident. It was a cataclysmic clash 38 years ago where the Rocks pirates, the most terrifying crew to ever sail the seas, were finally defeated. The official story credits the legendary Marine Vice Admiral Monkey D. Garp and the future Pirate King, Gold D. Roger, for the victory. This event cemented Garp's status as the hero of the Marines. Yet, a seemingly simple question has ignited one of the most intense and recurring debates among the fanbase: if the threat was so immense, why did Fleet Admiral Kong call on a Vice Admiral? Where were the 3 Marine Admirals, the supposed strongest military force of the world government? This question fractures the community into 2 main camps, each with passionate arguments and evidence. Let's break down this complex discussion, just as fans do in heated online forums, to uncover the most likely truth. Camp A: the 3 admirals simply didn't exist back then. This is a popular and seemingly straightforward argument. Proponents of this theory believe the marine power structure was different during the Rocks era. The initial misunderstanding. First, let's clear up a common confusion when the question is asked. It is not referring to Akainu, Kizaru, and Aokiji. The timeline definitively proves this is impossible. The God Valley incident occurred 38 years before the present storyline. At that time, Kizaru Borsalino would have been 20 years old and had not yet joined the Marines. He joined 32 years ago. Akainu Sakazuki would have been 17 years old and also had not joined. He also joined 32 years ago. Aokiji Kyuzen would have been a mere 11 years old. He joined 30 years ago. So, the debate isn't about them. It's about whether the positions of 3 admirals, held by other individuals, existed at all. The core argument, an argument from absent primary evidence for this camp, is that we have never heard of, nor seen, any other admirals from Garp's generation besides Sengoku. Their reasoning is simple: if there were other figures with power on par with a young Garp and Sengoku, they would be legendary figures in their own right. Why were they not present at the Battle of Marineford, a conflict that summoned every major marine asset? If they were alive, they should have been there, since they weren't. The logical conclusion for this camp is that they never existed. The top brass of the Marines at the time consisted solely of Fleet Admiral Kong, and his top field agents were Garp, Sengoku, and Suru, the 3 great power system. They argue was a structure implemented later, perhaps after Roger's death, and the start of the Great Pirate Era, to deal with the explosion of piracy and the eventual rise of the Fur Emperors. Camp B: they existed. The answer lies in Garp himself. This camp counters that the absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. They argue that logic, lore, and narrative structure all point to the existence of the admiral positions, and that Garp's involvement was a special case. Luan C1, the inescapable logic of hierarchithus, is perhaps the strongest piece of evidence. Monkey D. Garp's official, unchanging rank was Vice Admiral Foa CC. It is linguistically and structurally impossible to have a vice position without the primary position it is second to. The existence of a vice admiral logically necessitates the existence of an admiral. To argue otherwise would be to suggest the marine ranking system was fundamentally nonsensical. Luan C2, confirmed figures and Oda's intent know for a fact that Sengoku held the rank of admiral during this era before his own promotion to Fleet Admiral. We also know Kong was the Fleet Admiral above him. This already confirms 2 of the highest ranks were filled. Furthermore, while non-canon, the Oda supervised One Piece film. He introduced Zephyr, a former Marine Admiral from the same generation as Garp and Sengoku. While his story isn't part of the main manga, his existence as a concept approved by Oda himself lends significant weight to the idea that the 3 admiral system was indeed in place. Early concept sketches by Oda have also shown a trio of top-tier marine figures, suggesting the idea of a power triumvirate was part of his vision from the early stages. Luan C3, the narrative imperative from a storytelling perspective. The God Valley incident serves one primary purpose: to build the legend of Monkey D. Garp. It is his story. Introducing the other powerful but ultimately irrelevant admiral characters for a single flashback would dilute the focus and create narrative clutter. Oda needed to show why Garp is the hero, and he did so by having him be the one to answer the call and face the ultimate threat, the verdict. So, why was Garp called? If we accept that the admiral positions likely existed, the question returns to its original form. The answer is multifaceted. Garp was a force of nature, not a rank. Garp was a vice admiral by choice alone. He famously turned down the promotion to admiral multiple times because it would restrict his freedom in terms of raw power. He was an outlier whose strength was, at minimum, on par with and likely exceeded that of the official admirals. He was the only Marine consistently able to corner Gul D. Roger. When facing a crew that included future emperors like Whitebeard, Big Mom, and Kaido, led by the fearsome Rox D. Zebuk, Kong didn't call for a rank, he called for his single most powerful and reliable weapon. He called for Garp. Availability and logistics. The world of One Piece is vast. It's entirely plausible that the other admirals were deployed on other critical missions. Across the globe, God Valley was a sudden, escalating crisis involving the Celestial Dragons. Garp, who was on leave at the time, may have been the most powerful asset who could be deployed to the island on such short notice. The Roger factor. Garp had a unique and profound understanding of his rival, Gul D. Roger, when it became clear that a temporary alliance with Roger was necessary to defeat Rox. Garp was the only Marine who could possibly facilitate such an unbelievable team-up. His personal history with Roger made him uniquely qualified for the situation, in a way no other admiral could be. In conclusion, the debate over the existence of the admirals during the Rox era is a fascinating one, but the weight of evidence and logic leans heavily in favor of their existence. The reason Garp was called to God Valley wasn't because of a lack of options, but because he was, quite simply, the best and only option. He was the hero they needed, a man whose strength and spirit transcended rank, and the only Marine capable of standing with the king to defeat a god.
If you enjoy this video, please like, share, subscribe and hit the bell to the later update from my channel. Thank you for watching till the end, and see you in the next video.